What's up? What's up? In this video, I'm going to break down 4 of the most popular sales methodologies: BANT, SPIN, MEDDICC, and the opportunity to close. And I'm going to reveal which one is the best sales methodology for selling to large enterprises. So if you're selling to big companies, you need to know which one of these is going to give you the edge to actually crush quotas. Now, you might be using a sales methodology that worked in the past, but in today's enterprise-driven market, as decision-making has become incredibly complicated, it might just be holding you back. So let's see how these 4 methodologies stack up, and maybe you'll see some of the ways that it's helping or hurting you. Because the one question I think that you really have to sit back and reflect on is this: have you ever wondered why some sales approaches just don't seem to resonate with bigger clients? It might be because you're using the wrong one. This is critically important for those companies who have said, hey, we love our small clients, but we're trying to go up market. It's a totally different buying process. And that might be why your close rate is less than 10%. I've seen sales teams struggle mightily to close deals, not because the product stinks, but because they were using the wrong sales methodology in the wrong market that didn't understand the complexities of their market. But check this out. Once they switched to a more tailored approach, specifically made for selling to that type of buyer, their close rates skyrocketed. One of our clients just this year, in just 6 months, a client out of Boston, you know who you are, tripled their win rates on net new logo in just 6 months. Think about that. That's 3x the exact same number of leads, but 3 times the actual sales and revenue associated with it. So, I've already talked to you a little bit about why this matters. But because selling to enterprises isn't just about meeting needs. It's about navigating complex decision-making processes. Have you ever had somebody swoop in at the last minute on a deal that you didn't know was a decision maker? But understand that it's multiple stakeholders, and these longer sales cycles mean you need something just a little bit different. And so the right methodology can make all the difference in the world. If you think all sales methodologies are basically the same, think again. Because each one of them has strengths and weaknesses, especially in the context of selling to bigger companies. Let's start with an oldie but a goodie. Good old BANT. Right? What does BANT stand for? BANT is an acronym that stands for budget, authority, need, and timing or timeline. BANT's are great for quickly qualifying leads, but it can fail in complex SaaS environments. Now, it's a pretty effective tool if you're handing it off from an appointment center or an SDR and you're moving it into AEs. Can the SDR determine, am I talking to somebody who's already indicated that they have a budget? Does this person appear to have the authority to actually influence a decision? Are they in a position where they've identified that they have a need? Or do they know that they have to solve this problem in less than 12 months? And that's pretty awesome. A really basic way to start to qualify somebody is to go, hey, if they have 2 of those 4 metrics, then that's something that we could move from a qualification call into a potential opportunity and a discovery call. And that's great. Problem really becomes this: its simplicity and making it effective at doing that actually hampers its ability for you to sell to enterprise. Because in selling to large enterprise, it doesn't fully address all the intricacies of enterprise deals. Now, I would say one of those things is it's not actually able to capture the multifaceted nature of enterprise deals. Gartner says, at least they said it 2 years ago, and every year before that it kept going up, that in any enterprise deal, there's an average of, say, 11 people that influence the decision. And BANT simply falls short. It says, hey, let's find out if there's budget, there's authority, there's need, and timeline. And if we do that, we have a fully qualified deal that's ready to buy. It's just not the way it works, because you have to be able to manage multiple decision makers throughout the process during a long sales cycle. And BANT, if you've got a quick SaaS deal, somebody in a department head can swipe a credit card for, maybe BANT's fine. But if you're dealing with larger strategic issues and you're really talking about a price point anywhere above, say, $50,000, you need to look for a separate methodology. Next, we have spin selling. Now, these sales methodologies have been around for a very long time. So back in 1997-ish, I actually published an article on the benefits of spin for selling into, say, kind of manufacturing, construction, all that kind of stuff. So it's been around for a minute. Now, Spin selling, which is once again an acronym for situation, problem, implication, and need payoff, which I like how they did that need hyphen payoff. But they did need payoff. Make it a valuable thing in consultative selling environments, and they can help you develop out what the actual real business problems are. But once again, spin, even though it allows you to build rapport, understand client situations, and make it a more valuable consultative selling environment, which is a little more client-centric than BANT, it's going to struggle when you have decision-making that spans multiple departments. When you have procurement, when you have finance, when you have the business head, or when you have to get all the way to the C-suite. So it's going to struggle in doing those things because there's a lack of structure. And it really says, hey, what's the situation? What's the problem that it's creating for you? What does that mean is going to happen to you, right? And why must you do something? So I love the fact that it gets you over status quo. But that's where it ends because it doesn't allow you to manage those long timelines in enterprise sales cycles. The third one, let's talk about one of the most popular methodologies that you'll find out there today, and that's MEDDICC. Now, MEDDICC, MEDDICC, so lots of letters, really stands for the following, right? Metrics, economic buyer, decision criteria, decision process, identify pain, champion, competition. So it's pretty thorough. It's highly effective for enterprise sales, providing a framework for complex sales. Now, for years and years and years, they were against the idea of doing anything that actually made it prescriptive, though. Anything that allowed you to actually say, okay, I'm at this stage with something and I need to go to the next stage. So it has a lot of strengths in managing enterprise sales because it addresses the idea of multiple decision makers. It talks about the decision process, which allows you to align the sales process with the customer's decision criteria. Fantastic. But on the other hand, its comprehensive nature, its lack of prescription can ultimately be a little complicated. It can be overwhelming, particularly if you have any B and C players. So it's one of those things where I think it needs more guidance in order to actually help you. How do you improve the quality of every single one of your opportunities and deals? And so that's something that we really, really need to figure out because the complexity of the idea matches the complexity of the buying cycle, and that's great. But as we always say, we need to be able to take a concept from theory to the street because if your reps can't execute it and you can't execute it on the street, the theory is irrelevant. Methodology 4. You may not have heard of this one, so I'm going to tell you I'm a little biased. Because at RevEd, we have a process called the Opportunity to Close Roadmap, or O2C for short. Now, this is a methodology that was designed specifically to manage and close complex enterprise deals with precision and clarity. So it's a step-by-step approach that scores key factors in closing a deal. And so it incorporates a lot of the things that are in some of these other sales methodologies. And I'd be silly to sit here and say, oh, there's just one. Because great selling's great selling, so we have to have some of those pieces put together. So what we talk about with the O2C is that it balances the salesperson's intuition with objective criteria, which make it a particularly effective way to sell in the high-stakes world of selling to large enterprises. It has an ability to manage complex sales processes by focusing on the key elements that matter to your clients. Things like business motivation, their decision processes, your competitive positioning, your relationships with the ambassadors and the decision makers. It's a prescriptive scoring system that has a scale of 0 to 18. So what's super cool about that is if you have a 6, you just look at how to get to a 7. And it prescribes the next thing that you need to do to improve the quality of that deal and to improve the opportunity to close that deal. So it does a great job in managing complex sales processes by focusing on the key elements. And that's awesome. But even better, it's prescriptive. And so we can actually balance a sales rep's emotions, your emotions, with an objective scoring system that tells us exactly how to strengthen a deal so we win more enterprise deals. So we've looked at BANT, SPIN, MEDDICC, and O2C. And each of these methodologies has its strength. In selling to enterprise clients, Opportunity to Close Roadmap seems to stand out as the best choice. And the reason is it's designed to handle the complexities of long sales cycles, multiple stakeholders, and the need for objective decision-making on your side. Now think about this. BANT's still great as a qualification tool. Is it down and dirty? Can this thing move in and turn into an opportunity? Spin does a great job of kind of introducing you to that idea of what consultative selling is and how to develop the gap and the problems. MEDDICC was popular because one of the first things it did was introduce an idea of how to manage a sales opportunity through a complex sales process and deal with the complexities of all the things that go into selling an enterprise deal. And then the O to C takes all of those things, gives it a prescriptive process that tells you the exact next step that you need to take in order to strengthen the deal with objective scoring so you know exactly where you stand in the deal. So when we look at these methodologies, know that there is something for everyone in every one of these. There's a flavor that matters and is great. But a structured yet flexible methodology is what we really need to be uniquely successful for the challenges of selling to large enterprises. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe, because if you want to dive deeper into either the O to C methodology, how it can transform you, how it can transform your enterprise sales approach, or you want great sales or sales management tactics, strategies, and the best practices that have been responsible for more than $1 billion in sales and $4 billion in exits by our clients, hit like and subscribe. Check us out on all of our other social, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.